Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's a Wavetek model 134 sweep generator. It's from about 1970 and it is, of course, as you can see here, nice and shiny. I just spent the last 2.5 hours washing and polishing and making it as nice and as presentable as you can imagine. I'll show here a picture of the front and the rear side by side while I was in the middle of the cleanup, so you can probably imagine the front was looking a little bit like the back. Oh, well, look at that. I even repainted the little white stripes here because they fell off, half of them, and they were not nice anymore. And I glued these two together with epoxy, and yeah, everything is just really nice. Now I just need to get it up and running, because look what I found on the back. On the back I found this little bag with 4 transistors in a bag. So what does this mean? Maybe they're taking out somewhere, they were replaced, or they are, I don't know. Let's dig into that. So this is really funny. I just tested all the 4 transistors and they're all working, as you can see here. 2 PNP and 2 NPN, all working. So maybe they were pulled out somewhere, like here. Look at that. That'll be the same types in the output stage, and maybe a previous owner figured out, hey, we pull these out and put in some new ones, and then maybe during this process the real fault was found, and then he just didn't have the heart to throw out the old transistors, and then, okay, we'll just leave the new one in, and then it actually works. So there's probably some other fault finding something going on here in this output stage, because I can see a little solder there, probably some measure, this or that. I'll look a little bit at the back of that board. Here at the front, this is the main top board. We got another one at the bottom. We see only 2 little ICs, one there, another one there, and yeah, quite a lot of trimmers for all sorts of alignments, and some big capacitors in this area here. And I think that is, of course, the frequency setup, and that's why you need some really big capacitors. Those are super low leakage film capacitors, are very accurate and stable for all that timing stuff. And since this one is a sweep generator, it is, of course, full of a lot of components. Both the sweep and the voltage control. So the whole oscillator is a voltage controlled oscillator, and that is why you have only one little potentiometer here, and that's just a voltage input. Let's see if we can get a little bit deeper into this in a minute. We need to see if we can find the schematic as well. Also, this is the American version. Look at that mains connector, and here we had the mains cable. It is also not so nice. You can imagine about the same color as the front. So I'll take this out, and there's a problem with the size here, or the area that I have. I don't really have space to fit in a modern IEC connector. So what I think I will just do is just remove the pins here, drill this hole in the middle a little bit bigger, put in a cable, tie it up, glue it a little bit, and then I think we'll be done for now. At least that is my quick and dirty modification. About the other ICs on this board, you can of course see them right here, and there we have the date codes. I think it's from 77. This one is from, what is that, 70? Yeah, so maybe this unit is from 77. Is it the same with this one? Yeah, I don't know. And see, there's another one right here. So there is actually quite a lot of, I think those are op amps, right? So here at the bottom circuit board, we can see those knobs right here. They are highly related to sweep this and sweep that, how much you're sweeping, how fast you're sweeping, and all this. And this is of course the sweep board, and yeah, we have some timing capacitors of course around this the sweep speeds. And I can see that somebody did measure a lot here on the test points, probably involving the sweeping. And yeah, again, 70, and this one is also from 70. So I think this unit is from about 1970. And what is that funny component right there? I haven't yet figured that out, but it's a Wavetek component, not with a lot of, yeah, just like 2, 3, 4 pins soldered into the, is that a power supply or something like that? Oh, it's in the sweep. I don't know. Let's go and see if we can find the schematic. I was able to find full schematics on Radio Museum, and here is the full schematic. We can see in the bottom left that we have a power supply that is running at 2 different voltages. So we have a plus minus 22 and then a plus minus 15. We also have a minus 6 volt that goes to the bulb, and I think I will, and of course, investigate those voltages and see if everything is good. Especially the plus minus 15 is definitely the most important. Also, if we look here at the middle of the schematic, hey, let's zoom in a little bit more. We can see this special IC they call A1, and it's labeled with this Wavetek name and number. That is indeed an important part of the sine wave converter. So a proprietary IC, I think that's a little bit interesting. Other than that, the rest we see is just op amps and 4-in-1 transistors and all that kind of stuff. Here is the sweep board. It's also just op amps and transistors, but in the middle we see a JK flip-flop. So that is the trick gate control, where they use this flip-flop to do that. And this one generates an analog voltage that goes to the normal oscillator boards, because it's all voltage controlled. That is more or less all this board is doing. So it should be fairly easy to debug what is working and what is not working. As always, I feel it's more fun to do the first power up together. So here we go. This is the power off. So let's try and turn on power and see. Oh, we got output. Look at that. Well, that's actually pretty darn good, because I read 1, and this is 1 kilohertz, and here it says 1.01. Oh, we got a little bit of clipping down here. Can you see this? It's a little bit, yeah, you can see it's a little bit sharp. So that is the sine wave converter. We have it back here in the left side, and we got some trimmers. So I will definitely try and trim these in a minute. So let's see if we can do the sawtooth. Yes, we can. Square wave. Oh, that is beautiful. And then let's try and enable this sweeper. Okay, so here we have the sweeper right here. So this is how fast it changes the frequency. And we can, of course, we want to change the frequency real fast, like that. So what we see here is probably the sweep. And then if we go down here, we will probably see the output, the sweeped output. If I am not, why is this not working? It was easy to put it on. Oh, that's probably a little bit, okay, good. See, here we go. And what have we? Is this the, no. That is weird. So this is the sweep. I would expect it to be able to... Really? Here we go. I was of course able to figure this out. It was not that difficult. We of course need to go into continuous sweep mode. And then this is of course the sine wave output, triangle output, all those kinds of outputs. This, if you go up here, then you of course have sweep output here, but sweep output is always down there, right? So this is the voltage that controls the actual oscillator. So here's how fast it is sweeping. See? And then we can have a nice slow, and it's a sawtooth, so it goes up and then reset and start over again. Here is the variable. I think this is how much, and here is the number that you see here. This is all relative to the dial, so you can have 2 times the dial, 1 time the dial, or a half of the dial, and 0.1 of the dial. So this is a very little sweep. I think this makes a little bit more sense, right? So quite a lot of the dial, and then we can of course go up in the frequency, and then it will be more or less of that. So it is really working. And if we... I have an idea. So this is the built-in sweeper with this variable sweepy thingy. But we can of course use the external. So let's try and play with that. So now I have connected the voltage control input and to a DC supply. So here is 0 volts DC. So if I put up there, like, oh, let's take it away. So this is of course 0 volts, right? So nothing happens. So if I give it +1, oh, frequency goes up. What if I go -1? Oh, frequency goes down. How fascinating. So let's see here. I just leave it at 1 volt and then crank up the sweep width. Oh, that is now not doing anything. So that's quite interesting. I had the idea I could change it to be more sensitive or anything, but this has only something to do with the generator output. So now I probably have access directly to the voltage control, just as this one. They are obviously added together or something like that, right? So 2, 3, 4 volts. And I can go the other way around, -1, -2, -3. Oh, and then it goes the other way around. Okay, so it's probably ±2 volts I'm supposed to give it. So 2 volts is almost double the frequency, 3 volts. Okay, so I can actually just give it a lot more positive if I want to. Okay, so that is how that works with the sensitivity. If you want more sensitivity, here it is. If I give it a higher setting right here, and then go down again, see? Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Then I can get a much more aggressive setting. This is hundreds of millivolts each of those clicks. So that is a way to up the amplification, so to speak. But I really think this one works. Last time I was playing with a voltage controlled oscillator like this, I was asked, oh, can you put in a little speaker so we can hear how it sounds? Okay, so I will of course try and do that. So now is a perfect opportunity to control the volume of your video playback. Okay, are you ready? Because let's try and play with the volume here. Okay, this is terrible. I think that was more or less all I wanted to show about this fantastic old 1970 Wavetek generator with voltage input and all sorts of fancy smancy things. And you can of course do a lot more. You can use the external trigger. You can set a trig point where it responds to a reset of its sweep and all those kinds of things. So, but anyway, I think that was it. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.